Welcome. You know what time it is. It is a Fiverr Friday. It's Fiverr Friday. It's good to have you all here. You know, I was looking on the Fiverr page, and you know what? They need some gear. You know what I mean? They need some Fiverr gear. I need some Fiverr gear for this day so I could wear it on Friday. Do you know what I mean? And then I need some ACX gear. I guess I could just make my own slew of shirts, you know what I mean? I could make them or have them, go to one of those sites, I could do that. But, it's like I need some Fiverr gear, but I need some VO's Journey gear too. So I need a whole bunch of gear. And see, I have this coffee cup, but I want some coffee cups, with it on there. But anyways, what is up? Welcome to a VO's Journey. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all the crazy things that I seem to step on. So we are ready to kick this puppy off. How this works is every Friday we get together and we talk about Fiverr, and you bring your questions and whatever comments, and you ask me, you post them in the chats. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and I will answer them. And then if you can, we are growing at a phenomenal rate. I'm super excited. We have the last couple of weeks have seen a lot of growth, especially on YouTube with subs. So if you could subscribe, it would be, I would really appreciate it. And also hit the notification button. If you are on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. Whoop, I switched around Instagram. If you are on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, hit the like button and all that jazz. So I'm excited to get to more people. So anyways, let's go ahead and kick it off. But before we start, I have to give you an update. If you remember, a couple of days ago, I posted, it was on Wednesday, the scam of the century, and which is so interesting because there have been people reaching out. It's really, if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It was on Wednesday, and it's called The Scam of the Century. And there's been people responding in the comments section where they had been through the same thing with this same exact setup as what happened to me. So I'm really cool. I'm really thankful that they posted, and then someone said they had seen the video and it helped them. So I'm really excited about the fact that that worked out as well. But I wanted to give you an update. I finally got a hold of the company. And apparently what happened is the gentleman who they kept using the name, his identity was actually stolen about a week ago. All his stuff got hacked into and everything got stolen. So that's where that name came from, and that's why you couldn't contact him on the guy. And it was pretty, they probably thought I was crazy because I sounded crazy telling this story to them. But it was definitely interesting to say the least. But we've cross the fingers, we've gotten through it without anything being detrimental yet. So anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. What's up? We've got Mandy. I love that. Mandy Peacock VO on Instagram. Wolf Creek Audio. What's up, you guys? We've got, let's see, John over on Facebook. Colin. Colin seems to have our first question. All right, Colin came prepared. Colin says, "Hi, Anthony. Can you please explain how the portfolio section works on Fiverr? How are they get added to your gig, and can you control what samples of your voice of Fiverr work of your Fiverr work that's displayed?" I'm assuming. Okay, Colin. So basically, the Colin's referring to when someone clicks on your page. They go to your gig and you have your video on the top left of the screen, and then underneath that there is a bunch of separate videos. So what comes first is your video, then whatever demos that you've uploaded with the pictures that you've uploaded. Then after that is your portfolio. On the gig itself, if you go into your gig section, all right, there is a little button on each one. There's a little button in that section that says live portfolio. You can click it on or off. If it is on, then what happens is every job that is completed through Fiverr that you submit, they will then upload to your portfolio. Okay, and it will go to your portfolio on that specific gig. Okay, you cannot decide which one goes up there and which one does not if you have it turned on. Okay, the only way you can decide is that not to have them go on there and turn them off. And if you go around and search some different places, you'll find that some voice actors, they have it off. I keep it on because I've had multiple people come back and tell me that they've listened to tons of my samples and they absolutely love the breadth of work I've done, et cetera, et cetera. So it kind of reinforces who I am. However, I do know of people in instances where they were doing work that people were finding them through their job, like through their gig, and then doing like for example, your American voiceover, and then they were asking you to do a crazy character. You know what I mean? And then you upload that and it goes through the character, and then it's like, what? So anyways, that's kind of something that I would definitely recommend hitting, but knowing that if you do, everything that goes through Fiverr that's accepted or automatically done will be uploaded. Okay, Colin? So good question. All right, we've got, let's see, Sean on Facebook. We've got Ranch joined from Instagram. What's up? Let's see. We got Big Jim. What's up? We got Rich. Okay, John says, I need a lot of Fivers. UK slang for 5-pound notes. Not cool. Nice. Let's see. Eric says, note to file. Seems that if you want to listen to the computer speakers, you need to unplug the headset. Who knew? Okay. All right. Let's see. We've got we got another question from Richard Hawks. When is it a good idea to have your account reset? I think it may be best for me to start fresh. Thoughts? So, great question, Richard. So here's the deal, and I've had to recommend this to a couple of people, but I do it very sparingly. So what happens is when you're first starting out, especially, or you don't have a lot of business, you guys, sometimes it's luck of the draw. Unfortunately, there are some people who are tough to work with, as we know, or maybe you accidentally made a mistake when you were just starting off because you didn't understand the platform and like you got a bad review, or you missed a response and there was like a spam or something and it didn't go through right. So like your average response rate is like 20 hours or something, and you just cannot get that off of your account. And when you look at your account, you have to determine, do you feel that you have, the one thing that will never go away are reviews. So if you're having a review problem, and I mean a review problem being like you have like a bunch of, like you have a ones or twos and you can't get out of that hole, okay, and you've not been on there, like you don't have a slew of clients, it might be the best thing for you to delete that account and start over again. Okay, you have to delete that account and start over again. But you cannot, you're not supposed to have two accounts. As if Fiverr finds out, they will, ban you. So you know what I mean? Under, like, if you have an account under a different name, they don't, they don't want that. So you need to make sure that if you do it, you've got to delete that account, set up a whole new like email and everything, and go through it that way. So that's the only time that I would recommend you deleting your account. Okay. But I would say that if it is something like average response time or something like, completion rate, that stuff goes away. I mean, that's like a moving average. Does that make sense? So it's not the only thing that happens. The downside is that when you're just starting out or you don't have a lot of traffic, you don't have the numbers to, hoist up the bad ones, right? You don't have like all the extra response, like you don't have a bunch of questions coming into your account, so you can't get rid of that average of it being low. But as it goes along, it will get better. Like I said, the only thing that doesn't go away, unfortunately, is the reviews. Are the reviews, so you can't get rid of those without deleting your account. And if you have an issue with that, and it's so bad that you can't climb out of it, it might be that situation. I just really use that as a last resort if you have built up a lot of work, because we all know how much time it takes to build up our stuff on Fiverr. So, but like I said, there are situations where I've had to recommend you delete account. People have delete their account and start over again. It would be a lot easier than trying to fix something that is nearly unfixable. Okay. All right. So let's see. Heath, what's up? We got Heath. Good day. Let's see. We've got DK. What's up? We've got Roy. Hello. We got Philippe. Laura Lee. Hi, hi, hi. The Hobbyist. What's up? DK says, on Fiverr, when someone submits a custom order and it's very low and you refuse it, why do you have to constantly email customer service to correct your order completion rate? All right, let me read that again. On Fiverr, when someone submits a custom order and it's very low and you refuse it, why do you have to constantly email customer service to correct your completion rate? Okay, so DK, if someone messages you with a custom order, okay, that they have not purchased from you, then it does not affect your completion rate. The only time it affects your completion rate is if someone actually purchases from you and it's canceled. So if that is actually affecting your completion rate, you need to message, you need to message customer service and tell them something's wrong with your account. Because a custom request, when someone submits a custom order, so are you, okay, so, and you refuse it, right? So that means they're submitting a custom order request to you for saying they submit and say, hey, we'd like you to do this job and our budget is like $20. Is that what you're talking about? And then, you refuse it and you're saying, why do you have to email customer service? It should not affect your completion rate unless they purchase it from you, in which case then you would have to cancel it. That's the only way it would affect your completion rate. Okay. And like I said, if it is doing it the other way, you need to definitely contact them and tell them something's wrong with your account, because it only can affect it if they purchase from you. If it's not purchased from you, then they can't. Now, if you've given them a custom order, you sent them a custom order and they've purchased it, and then you try to cancel it, right? That's why it's called cancellation rate or completion rate, but it's based on cancellations. All right. So, okay, I know I'm skipping down the bottom and say yes, but they submit the order for purchase. So I'm like I said, unless they actually purchase it, DK, it shouldn't be doing it. It shouldn't be causing any issues to you. Then it's just a message that you then message them back. And so what you're doing is you're messaging them back and saying, no thanks, this is too low. All right, is that what you're doing? All right, so let me know, because I'm missing something, because you're like, but they submit the order for purchase. Unless they buy from you, then it can't affect you. So I'm just confused about it. All right, so yes, they purchased. Okay, well, if they've purchased from you, then you have to. You need to change. I'm confused. If they purchased from you, then that's your you shouldn't cancel the thing if they purchased from you, unless you feel that they've not purchased everything, in which case there's a couple things you need to do. First off, what you need to do is you really need to take a step back and look at your requirements page. You need to look at your FAQs. You need to look at everything and make sure it's going like everything is set to where someone is constantly seeing the things you want them to see. Like maybe you're saying they're not doing commercial rights, they're not doing broadcast rights. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it means, because if they're purchasing from you and it's your the price you set, then it shouldn't be you deleting it. You know what I mean? I'm confused. But if it's the other thing where they're not purchasing enough from you, then you have to look at your account and say, okay, am I setting the expectations throughout my entire Fiverr account for them to purchase everything they're supposed to? Does that make sense? I think that's what you mean. And if, but I'm not sure. So we'll have to. Now, if you're saying they're purchasing stuff and expecting more and not buying everything, maybe, then, I get that. In which case, again, you got to go back and do those things. I'm thinking maybe you want to contact me. Okay, cool. So you got to work on those expectations, especially on the requirements page. I do something really kind of cool on the requirements page. I have on my requirements page, when someone purchases from you on Fiverr, you send them, they go to your requirements page to send you a script. I also make sure on my requirements page that they have to fill out a yes or no. Do they need commercial rights? Yes or no, do they need broadcast rights? And yes or no, do they understand my revision policy. They have to actually click it. And the thing about your requirements page is when someone purchases from you, that is the only thing that shows up for that. Okay? It really does make a huge difference. So, make sure you're on top of it. Okay. So good, man. That was good. All right, let's go ahead. Move on here. We've got, I got to catch up to where we were. Switch Gaming, what's up? Kevin says, Anthony, what strategy would you advise for audiobooks on Fiverr and other freelancer sites? Okay, so first and foremost, on Fiverr and everything else, the more information you can put, the more professional looking you can be, all right, the more people are going to be attracted to what you are doing. The more, the better your demo is. Okay, it all makes sense. I mean, filling out your Fiverr gig is one thing. I mean, I've done stuff, I have courses on it, and I have the Fiverr Elite that we meet every weekend, the Fiverr Elite group. And, where we talk about everything is about growing your Fiverr business, so I've done a lot about how to fill out your Fiverr stuff. Plus I do the reviews, the Fiverr gig reviews as well now. And so like filling out your profiles and how to do that's a big important part, but that's one part of it. The other part of it is let's be honest, everyone. So many more people are joining Fiverr. So many more people are getting to top-rated seller on Fiverr. So many more people are really putting in a lot of effort on Fiverr. That's not a bad thing. That just means that we've got to bring our A game. We've got to really raise the bar in order to compete with those. There's about almost 8,000 men on there, according to the Fiverr numbers, and there's almost about 6,000 women on there. All right, so we're talking close to 14,000 voice over artists on there, all right, or offerings. And I'm not sure if it's offerings from the genre, like gigs from the genre, or actual, people, okay, because that number could be significantly less if it was, one person doing 10 gigs. I don't know. They don't say that, but if you look at the numbers, they tell you how many like men there are and how many women there are. Okay, so in voiceover. So that's a lot of people though to compete against. It's not as much like voices.com or something, but it's a lot. So you've got to bring your A game. So you've got to have great samples. When I was really serious about audiobooks on Fiverr, growing my Fiverr audiobook business, I did something that no one else did. I put my resume on there. I put what I had in my studio in picture format on the stuff, because you can also put 2 PDF files. I put how my process works in a PDF file for people to read. I did a lot of stuff that no one else was doing in order to make people trust me, to let them know that I was trustworthy in order for them to purchase from me. But I'll tell you this too. It is so important that you really deliver the highest quality work, because I just got done right before this, because I also on ACX or on Fiverr, I also do editing, audiobook editing and formatting and mastering for other producers or audiobook narrators who don't do it themselves and they need help, like getting it formatted and stuff. And I was doing a book for someone, and I just finished it up before. And the young lady who did it, she her acting was okay, but again, the audio production itself was just really bad. And I couldn't hear, like, even after all the correct formatting and doing everything I could to, which is beyond what I offer, like there was words cut off and stuff, and she probably overprocessed things and didn't know what she was doing. So you have to understand, you've got to set yourself apart by being as professional as possible. It does matter your product. Absolutely, but it also matters how much you fill out your profile, how professional you're presenting everything, how much information you offer, what are the processes you're giving, etc. Okay? So, and that goes for everywhere else. The more professional you can make yourself look, the better demos you have. Everything needs to be, one step better than everybody else. You don't need to be a skyscraper. You just need to try to be a step better than everyone else. Okay, and the act of trying to be like that will really help out, okay? Also, target different keywords on Fiverr. Don't, like if it's audiobook, audio space book, or audio book is one word. Target them. Don't just do one of them. As a level 0 just starting out, you get 7 gigs. right? Fiverr allows you to do 7 separate gigs. If you are level 1, you get 10. If you're level 2, you get 20. And if you're a top-rated seller, you get 30. These are things you can use. Now, as you go up the chain, there are different strategies like to become top-rated seller and stuff. But we're talking about just getting you more business right now. Okay? All right. That was a long-winded question or answer. So, all right. Let's see. Okay. Makes sense. Richard says, not any of that. I'm just buried and getting little to no impressions right now. Okay. Well, then, if it's impressions you're trying to get, all right, couple things. One, like I said, do you have all of the gigs filled out that you can make is one thing. 2, are you split testing? Are you changing the title? Are you changing your description? Are you working with different different tags? Here's the rules of thumb, okay? If you want more impressions, you change the title, you change your tags, and you rewrite your description. If you want more business, like if you're getting lots of impressions but you're not getting business, you need to look at your price as well as your video / your demo or samples. Okay, those are you can like pretty much, set your clock by those things. And a great way to test it out too is to use all the gigs and to switch them around. You know what I mean? And if they're not working after a month or a couple of weeks, delete them or you try something different. Do you know what I mean? But if you are just trying to get business and kick it off, you've got to dive in and try as many things as you can until you find that little crack. Because you're just starting out, you're not going to compete with the people at the top, right? You're not going to compete with the people at the first page, right? You have to work your way up there, but there's many places, there's many cracks that you can get into, which is how I built my business. It was first through character voices, then it was through audiobooks. So, they've added a lot. Fiverr's added a lot. They've added the podcast stuff. They've added audio editing. They've added spoken word. They've added a lot of things to similar to the voiceover genre. So, something to try out. Okay. All right. So let's see. Louis says, what's up, Louis from Facebook? Fiverr Learning. What's the deal? How important? The VO1 seems super basic. I've seen numerous reports as to their effectiveness on sales. Seems like Fiverr's version of the company store. Yeah. So Louis, the Fiverr Learning was, I think, their way to, try to make probably a little bit of extra money, but more to try to up the game of the sellers on Fiverr. Because let's be honest, right? Fiverr had a bad name. It still is struggling with a dogma attached to it. So when they went public, the CEO, really came out and said they're going to do everything they can to, change the prices, like make sure that they're making more money. They've got to turn profitable. All right. And so they've got to raise the average selling price. They've got to do a lot of things. And one of the ways they want to do that is they have to make sure that they have some sort of training available. And this is the idea I think they came out with. So in order to not only make it, be able to pay the people they're paying as well and make it viable, they also offer to boost your gig once you finish it. Okay. So I take 1 to 2 courses a month. I've taken like 16 of them. Now I don't take the expensive ones. I've not taken the voiceover one, because that's like $95. I try to stick to the ones that are like $19 or $25 or $30. I try to stick to the marketing ones and the ones that I really feel can help me. You know what I mean? So, and then you get always access to them, but I always see a boost. But here's the kicker though. You've got to make sure when you do the course that your gig is set up in a manner that once it's boosted, you're going to get work. You know what I mean? Because if one's not working, the other one's not going to help you. So that's the deal with the Learn courses, okay? And they come out with new ones, okay? And some clearly are better than others, but that's what the deal with them. And they do help. They do help your stats. Absolutely. They help you get more work. Last about a week or so, week or two. Let's see. Graphics Gramp. About half of my Fiverr messages are obvious scams. Is that normal? Yes. I mean, with this scam thing, it's crazy how much scams are going on. And I just fear they're going to get worse, especially more elaborate. And with that scam thing I did the other day, someone posed a question on the comments of that video about like, why did they actually, like, what was their end game? And I have no idea, because they weren't, I mean, I think they were fishing for your data, but then they were, I mean, it was just, it's very strange. Like, it was a long process just to get, like, you know, a birth date. I imagine they were going to ask, you know, to purchase something, you know, to buy something or send them money so they could purchase the ticket, you know, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it is normal, unfortunately. And the lower down, like the newer you are, the more you're going to get. Okay. All right. DK, yes, but they submit the order for, okay, I got there because I skipped. All right. Laura Lee says, Angela, I think you are incredible. I hope to be like you someday. You are my inspiration. Go Angela. DK, yes, they purchased. Angela had some bugs with Fiverr last few days. Anyone else? I'm not sure. I haven't had bugs with Fiverr, but I do know that they just re-upped their. There was just a reset of the app as well, and some bugs were fixed. So maybe that's why. Rich says only half. I seem to get them all day. Yeah, they're pretty bad, especially, like I said, when you're just starting out more so, you get them a lot. DK voice is cool. Thank you. Sean, just hit level 1. Congrats, man. What gig add-on should add to my gig? What is your most popular add-on other than commercial broadcast rights? My most popular add-on is commercial rights. Second would be broadcast rights. And then the other one would be my revisions. So the way I try to do things is I try to get people to pre-purchase revisions so that I don't have to argue with them. And I do that by, you know, putting it everywhere that they need to understand the revision policy and just to go ahead and pre-purchase a revision, right? So they pre-purchase a revision, plus I make sure that it is very detailed about what the revision covers. That's super important. You've got to put down what the revision covers, like how many words, you know, if it's $10, like if it's $10, if it's you offer a revision, well, how many words is that? You've got to put the requirement down so they know how much it is. And by the way, that also makes you look a lot more professional. And here's another thing. People don't have a problem paying or making a decision about whether to work with you or not. It's easier for them to make a decision if you are upfront about everything. I think a lot of times we fear that if we tell people what we really want to charge them, they're just going to be like appalled. But the reality is once you decide on what you're doing, stick to it. Put it out there. You know, you put out quality work. And from the revisions thing, for me, that's the big one. The other one, of course, would be my fast delivery. I changed about a few months ago because I was so swamped, I couldn't keep delivering within 24 hours. So I changed my delivery time to 3 days, and then, of course, did the 24-hour delivery. So that's popular as well, too. People come and they offer or they buy the 24-hour delivery from me. But people buy script, but they buy every single one of my stuff. Live direction, they buy, I have people buy metadata. I do put metadata on files. I've had people buy that. People buy split files. People buy all of it from me. If they're not buying it from you, then what you're not doing is you're not getting a good enough spread on your FAQs, on your description, on your requirements page of mentioning that they need to purchase these things. But you have to mention it in a manner, too, that's not going to be like, if you don't purchase these things, I'm not working with you. Because that's like, well, I don't want to work with you, right? You have to be nice. It's customer service, right? All right, so good call, Sean. The add-ons are everything. So commercial broadcast rights, and then my revisions, and then the fast delivery. If you are a 24-hour person, then I offered, because I was 24 hours for a long time, for most of my whole entire Fiverr career so far, I offered a super fast delivery, which was, but this is important. I never put down exactly how much hours it would be. All I said is I will move you to the front of the line. So if you purchase this for like $40, you'll be moved to the front of the line. All right. And then I gave a date. I can usually complete this in 12 to 14 hours. So that's how I did that. And that was popular too. Okay, that was popular too. So that's if you do 24 hours. And that one you have to add on yourself. Of course, if you're 24 hours, you cannot add the extra fast delivery that is offered by Fiverr. You have to add that on yourself, which is I'm assuming that's what you're asking. Okay, great. Richard says makes sense. Do the SEO stuff. Got it. Haven't been doing that. No worries, man. Give it a shot. John says, we got a message over here on Instagram. Let's see. How would you handle this situation? Client purchases 24-hour turnaround, but then messages you to hold off because their client wants to change the script, but doesn't get back to you within the 24 hours. Excellent. This happened, Mandy. Great question. This happens to me all the time. So basically what I do is one of two things. I either I actually deliver the gig and say, just message me with the information when you need it. I'm not going anywhere. I do that. Or you can simply go to the resolution center, okay, which is up in the right hand corner, and you can ask for an extension. Okay, and it just basically you go through the thing, and all you want to do is you want to click the need to extend delivery time, and there'll be a little box that pops up, and you write in there, client would like a little bit more time to get script, and then it will go to the next one of the message you send to them, and you can put like 2 days or 3 days and put in, client would like more time, hit the submit, a dispute box opens or a dispute little thing opens on your gig. It looks scary, like, you've done something wrong. The first time I had it, I was like, it's the end of the world, because someone did that for me. But now I use it all the time, and then they can come back and accept it, and that will extend the delivery time for you. Okay? This particular client took 2 weeks to respond. See, okay, so if they did that, you just deliver it. Deliver it and put, please let me know, because Fiverr dings my account, and I'm going to deliver this for you right now, and please just message me back when you need, when you have the information, and I'd be happy to do that for you. That's what I do. And most of the time, they accept it because they've already paid. See, they've already put the money in. All right, and if you give them, if they really have an issue, like 2 weeks, that's just too long. Okay, don't be afraid to deliver it or hit the resolution center, but who knew how long that would take? All right, that was good, Mandy. That was good. Okay, let's see. John says it's more of a case of try and fail than fail to try. Absolutely, John. Absolutely. I think it's apparent bad reputation is just snobbery. Yeah. Colin says, I followed your advice on courses, and yes, gig was boosted. Nice, man. John says, have you considered making a scammer identification course for newbies? That's a really good idea. Because I have to say that you gotta, after a while, you become a lot more intuitive about it. And but this last one, through LinkedIn was something. But yes, definitely, I would like to look into doing that. Thank you for that. That's a good idea. Kevin says, saw something where they went all the way through the scam, and it was they send an over amount check and ask you to return the difference. See, and I think that I used to work in banking for a brief period of time, and that happened a lot. People would come with a check, and they were supposed to, deposit it and then send the difference. Well, what happened was the check had to be put on hold. So the bank, has to put it on hold for 5-7 days or whatever. And within that time, you don't know if the check is fraudulent or not, but you withdraw money to give them the difference. So, and you send it to them, and most of the time they get the money from you before you have a chance to realize that the check is fraudulent. Happens a lot. So, yeah, good call. Phil says, do you hit the buyer requests every day? Okay, I do not anymore. When I was first building my business, I did every single day, and I recommend that is something that everyone should do. To build if you're not getting the traffic you want, that's another way to build your business. Just know that people also go there to get a deal. That doesn't mean you have to give them a deal, but you need to understand there's going to be a lot of people in buyer requests who are not looking for you in particular, in which case you need to find a way to still get your offers out there. And you can do that by you can do that a couple ways. One, you got to go to the buyer requests more than once a day. And by the way, guys, this isn't easy. It takes time, but you got to go to the buy request more than once a day, because they change and more come in. Like, you might go in the morning, you might go at night, and you'd be like, man, there was like one for me. The rest of them are looking for French teenagers or something, whatever, right? So like, you've got to go different times. You got to check on your phone. Now with the app, you can check through your phone, okay? That's something that you can do. So I recommend that you go multiple times a day. The other way to do it is to kindly send messages saying, hey, I know you're not looking for me at this moment, but if you are in the future, this is what you could do. I will be telling you this now that I'm telling everybody. If everybody starts doing that, Fiverr probably would crack down on it. So I would stick to the first thing that I said, and that is make sure you go different times a day. Okay, and whenever you can get it popped up, put in your buyer request as much as you can. All right. Okay, good question. Let's see. By the way, some people have gotten their biggest paying jobs through the buyer request section. Okay. All right. So there's been some really great questions today, you guys. Let's see. John says, I must admit I hear about them and it's concerning. Yeah. Steve says, how were you able to make those have to check items that way on your gigs? I currently have them set as option boxes. So on the requirements page, there's a drop down box under each thing that you can add, right? When you go to the requirements page and you're filling that out for the customer that they have to fill out when they purchase from you. There's a drop-down box that allows you to have free text, attachment, or multiple answer. So what I do is I use the multiple answer section and simply put yes and no. And what happens is I'll put, do you need commercial rights? And then give a brief description and then telling them if they do, they can message me or purchase afterwards. And then what happens is it pops up and there's a bubble that says yes and there's a bubble that says no. So they have to click yes or no. Now, if they're still lying, they can get away with it. But the point is that is the only thing that comes to, like, on the gig when they deliver it. They've specifically said no. They have refused the need for commercial rights or broadcast rights so that, you have leverage, if they have stolen your intellectual property to go after them. Okay, so that is something that has worked tremendously for me. And what happens a lot is people now, which has been huge for my business, once they're done, like once they buy something and they see it, afterwards they buy the extra, or they send, or they'll click yes, and I send them a custom order through the gig for an extra, and they purchase it. And that's how I've gotten my average up to like $70 or $80. So yeah. Okay, cool. Let's see. Followed you by. Okay, Kevin says, saw something where they went all the way. Oh, wait, I read that already. Voices says, when you use the resolution center to request more time, does it reflect on your stats? Nope. Doesn't reflect on your stats. Unless they do not accept it and you keep it open past the time that the gig is late. Okay, then it will show up as being late. Okay, so there is still there is that. But it does not show up if they accept it or you do it. No. That's why I love it. The Resolution Center is the what helps us solve a lot of the problems that we fear about delivering on time. Okay. All right, Lee. Hey, Anthony. Something I've always wondered is how people make a living on Fiverr. It takes so long for the payout to happen that I can't wrap my head around how people work full-time in there and make a living through it. How does it work for you? All right, Lee. So a couple things. When it takes 2 weeks for you to get paid, but the 2 weeks is after the client approves it or it automatically is done. And every time, here's another note, every time someone has a revision, every time it's the account keeps going or the job keeps going, it resets those 3 days. So in actuality, after you complete a job, it could take up to 14, 17 days for you to get paid until you get to top rated seller. And when you get to top rated seller, you're paid within 7 days. So that was a big difference for me. Okay. But I make a lot of money from Fiverr, but I don't work full time from Fiverr. I mean, I work full time from making money from a lot of different places. But I could work full time from Fiverr, if that's what you're asking. And that's how I do it. I just get a lot of jobs every single day so that money is coming through every single day. So that's really, Lee, that's how you do it. If you're getting, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 jobs a day, 20 jobs a day, and you're doing those and you're getting that kind of traffic, which is what I do, which is what is possible on Fiverr, then after you go through those 17 days or whatever, it's going to start, there's going to be money that comes every single day. But just like a business, right? You have to understand that there's going to be high points and low points, and it's your job to save appropriately for different times of the month. Perfect example. I don't know if you've all felt this, but I wanted to come on and tell you guys this today. It's January. I've had an okay month, but my numbers are nothing like the last 3 months. January has been a lot slower for me. Okay. Now it might be good for you, all right, which is wonderful, but it's been slower for me. I'll be honest with you. And I know some people have been contacting me very nervous about how slow it's been, but this is January. It's slow. We have to live with that. We have to understand that. And that's why I love Fiverr, but don't rely solely on Fiverr. Okay. Don't rely solely on Fiverr, but you know, I make the majority of that, my income from Fiverr. So. All right, Lee, I hope that helped. John, can I claim royalties on that idea? I hear you, ma'am. I don't know. I got to do it first. All right. So anyways, this really great session today, you guys. Thank you so much for all your questions. If you have anything else, make sure you post it really quick. I know there's a lag time, but listen, once again, if you could, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like these videos, retweet them, share them. And this has by far been absolutely, we had ACX yesterday. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys too. I was looking at, it was interesting while we were on here, I noticed this. I had posted my, I also do a podcast that, if you know about that, VO's Journey podcast. And my last night, my podcast I did was about me rejoining Voice 123. And I posted it on Twitter. And then I was seeing while I was talking to you guys that Voice 123 responded. And they responded to it. You know what? I need to, you know what? I'm going to pull it up. So I did this thing for, I know we're talking about Fiverr, but I thought you guys might find it interesting since, you know, we all can be live here. So I did this thing, on Voice 123 about me thinking about joining again. And I posted that, and they said, thanks for sharing. This is from Voice 123. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on our membership plans. We highly value transparency, and we strive to provide the best level of opportunities for all of our members. So that was from Voice 123 just now. The first message I've ever received from Voice 123 directly on Twitter. So that's interesting. If you haven't heard about that one, make sure that you check that out. The podcast of VO's Journey. All right, you guys, thank you so much. It's time for me to go on to doing some more work from Fiverr. Thank you. Make sure that you subscribe. And, oh, by the way, if you want to join the Fiverr Elite group, there'll be a link below, or you can check it out on vosjourney.com. I also am building out the store of equipment and things that I like that you can go and check out and see with different mics and interfaces. It's not fully done yet, but you can go in there and check it out and see too. It's all on the website. So, and if you need a gig review, check that out on Fiverr too. All right. Let's see, Colin, see you Sunday. Yes, Sunday, Fiverr Elite is on Sunday because I am judging a one-act tomorrow. I'll be gone all day. I'm judging some one-acts tomorrow. It's one-act competitions for high school theaters in the area, which I used to do high school theater. So I'm excited about that. So Sunday will be the group this week, but it's normally on Saturdays. Let's see. See you Sunday. Hey, AP, missed the most of the stream. Just work late last night. I hear you. Thank you for this. Absolutely. All right, you guys, you have a good one. Talk to you later. Goodbye.